Good morning and welcome to the podcast. I've got my good friend Josh Dyer, the director.
Hold on. Did you hit play or record? I didn't see you.
Yes, I seen him putting his hand up. So we're going to do that. He's laughing now, so never mind. We're going to start over. Take two, as they say back in Hollywood. Today, my guest is Josh Dyer. He is the director of the Crawford Park District. He's very serious today because we're getting into the time of the year at the Crawford Park District where things get real serious. Fall is a very busy time out there, isn't it?
Fall is busy. It's a wonderful time to get out and about. Looking at the weather forecast for this week, looks like she's going to moderate out pretty good and get some actual fall weather kind of sniffing in here for September. So, yeah, fall is fastly approaching. And yes, we have lots of stuff going on.
Well, I'll tell you, I think I did want to mention, and as I've said before we went on doing this podcast this morning, anyone that wants to know more about the actual events, they can go to your website, and I believe, if I'm correct, it's www.crawfordparkdistrict.org.
Yes, or you can just shorten it by crawfordpd.org too. It'll still get you to the same place.
Okay.
So, yep.
And what I liked is it already has the Fall 2023 Trails newsletter up there. So everything that you're going to talk about today, if you miss it, you can go to the Trails newsletter, or you can just keep replaying this podcast because you like to hear us.
That's right. Maybe they like to hear us
I know
talk.
they do.
I'm sure they do, Dave. And not only does it have our programs, but just other park happenings within the realm of the Park District. A couple things I'd like to highlight. We do offer scholarships each year. Our friends of the Crawford Park District has a dedicated fund for offering 2 scholarships each year. So
we had 2 already.
And we had 2.
Yes.
We run our scholarship through. You apply for however many you want to apply for. Ours is included in there. It's the Dr. Lori Ann Rodebeck Memorial Scholarship is the name of our scholarship, and March 1st is the deadline. So back later in the spring, we did award those to Miss Maria Smith, who is a 2023 graduate of Colonel Crawford High School, and a Jaylene Spalding, who is also also a 2023 graduate, but of Buckeye Central. Maria is going to be going into education, and Jaylene is going to be studying marine biology down in Florida. So we're wishing those gals all the luck in the world. Hey, what do you say? Grab the bull by the horns and try to make an impact, I guess.
Yeah, just don't get gored.
That's right. Don't get gored by the bull. So, congratulations to those 2 ladies.
Yes,
if anybody's been on a scholarship committee to award scholarships, it is
tough.
It is tough. It is tough. And you start reading through some of the essays, and when you reflect on society and the kids these days, the kids, to read these essays. I mean, these kids got it going on. I mean,
they got their attitude.
They do, and it's so enlightening and just wholesome to read what these kids have to say, regardless if they're selected for the scholarship. I mean, that's what makes it.
Yes.
That's what makes it difficult is the insight that a lot of these kids have into their future and the environment.
It's encouraging.
It is encouraging, heartwarming to see that. So, So if anybody's interested in that scholarship, March 1st will be the deadline.
Yeah,
so 2024, it'll be here before we know it.
Yeah,
so.
and don't procrastinate.
Don't procrastinate.
I can tell you what, people will forget it. So
and that God bless the kids that fill that application out. I would not want to fill that thing out. It is quite the arduous task. So. Congratulations to Maria Smith and Jaylene Spalding.
Absolutely.
One other bit of news, a longtime supporter, he actually was there at the beginning of the Park District back in 1994. Emerson Eckstein passed away this past spring, and so we wanted to highlight his contributions to the Park District. He's been, like I said, been there ever since the beginning. Back when I worked for the Park District on my first stint right out of high school in '99, worked a lot with Emerson after the Nature Center was built, building shelves and cleaning up, and just generally working on the Nature Center as it was being constructed. I worked with Emerson a lot, and was proud of what he saw come to fruition from the very beginning.
Absolutely.
And I mean, just, you know, I mean, he was 94, 95 years young, and even up until the end, you know, he was coming out every month or every quarter to help fold newsletters and coming out to help with the big events even. And I just, gonna miss that guy, but I know his legacy of what he left and what he contributed to the Park District will definitely carry on, and we greatly appreciate Emerson's contribution.
Actually, it's tremendous what's happened over the years to this Park District. I always considered it the crown jewel of the county. Quite frankly, it's really almost miraculous the way this has all kind of come together.
Yeah, appreciate that, Dave. But you know, and Emerson's to thank because he was one of those wheels that got this thing going.
He was one of the trailblazers.
Yep. So he'll be missed, but so we do have a bunch of programs going on, bunch of stuff. We have a little Explorers program that happens every first Tuesday of the month. It's geared towards preschoolers and younger, down to toddlers and infants. Working on fine and gross motor skills with these little youngsters, incorporating anything from this month in September, it'll be wings. They're going to focus on in October, and kind of flipping through here, October, they're going to be doing, I missed it, pumpkins. Who doesn't like pumpkins in the fall? So exploring with some pumpkins. And then in November, the November one will focus, of course, on turkeys.
You do a pretty fair imitation there.
So if you got some youngsters out there, stop by every first Tuesday of the month at 5 p.m. out at Love Oak Park and get those little youngsters engaged in a little bit of turkey talk.
Well, I tell you, you got that down to science.
I practice a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
I got to thinking, you've got a big event coming, especially all the events are either educational or focused on nature. So
yes.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought of October 21st.
Mm-hmm.
And
what day is that?
That is the one for the yes.
Halloween Family Fun Night?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big one. We love that event. It's a good time. More of a fall festival, so to speak, than more of a Halloween, but definitely kids are encouraged to come out and dress up. We got night hikes, scary hike, non-scary hike, s'mores and hot dogs by the fire. Let's see, what else is there? Just the wagon rides, our animals are out, just all kinds of fun stuff, face painting, little crafts and stuff. It's a good family event out there that night on Halloween Family Fun Night from 6 to 9. The wagon rides are so popular, you know, just people, you know, Lisa's, Naturalist Lisa, her dad comes up from Xenia area and helps do the wagon rides, and he just is blown away, you know, because when we grew up back in the 80s, 70s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, however old you are, the wagon rides were just one and the same, I guess. I don't, you know, you take that stuff for granted on a wagon ride, but I mean, you start getting away from an agrarian base, people don't do wagon rides anymore, and so I mean those wagon rides are just they just love to get on the wagon rides and ride around the field, and we're happy to provide it for them. You know, we enjoy getting out there and doing circles out in the field for those people because they enjoy it so much. It's a fun event. 6 to 9 on the 21st of October.
And it's nice getting people into the outdoors, and this is, you know, that's one of the blessed things of the Park District. I mean, you're out there, people in nature and just enjoying life.
Like I said, you come to us, we'll get your nature fix for you.
There you go.
We'll get your nature fix. Another monthly thing we've got going on, Homeschool Nature. Lisa does every first Thursday of the month. There's 2 sessions, so if you know a homeschooler out there, 10 and 2 every first Thursday. Let's see, archery. We do some archery programs. One of our final ones that we do is a pumpkin shoot. The pumpkin shoot is scheduled there in October. Of course, we kind of go find some leftovers, but kids it's fun to shoot those smaller targets. But the pumpkin shoot will wind up our archery stuff on Wednesday, October 25th out at Unger Park at 5 o'clock. So you can sign up for that. You ever started a fire?
Yes.
Did you use appropriate materials or inappropriate materials, Dave?
I've done both.
Haven't we all? Haven't we all? I've put away my youthful inhibitions And so I try to start them the right way now. And to that end, I'm going to be doing a program on flint and steel fires.
Okay.
So if you want to figure out how that works, it's pretty effective. You will wow all your campfire followers that come to your campfire. You will wow them when you get out your piece of flint, your piece of steel, a little piece of charred cloth, and you strike them together, and you get a fire going.
Wow.
Wow. You will be the amazement of your campfire.
So it's not a matter of somebody using their Zippo lighter or
That's
flicking their
right.
wick.
That's
back
right.
in the old days.
Yeah. You can almost do it ceremoniously,
Yes.
too. And but if you'd really like to learn how to do that, I will be leading a little program on flint and steel fires on Saturday, October 14th,
Oh.
10 a.m. Have all the materials for everybody. You'll know exactly how to do it, and it'll be so fun.
Well, and I started thinking, Josh Dyer and fire. What could go wrong?
Nothing.
There you go.
Nothing. You may end up with some busted knuckles. It takes a little
Yeah.
bit to get the striking technique down, but and you know what how the spark is created, Dave.
No, you're going to have to enlighten me on that.
So you have a piece of flint, you have a piece of steel.
Yes.
Which one's harder?
I would say probably the flint.
The flint is harder because it has quartz in it. Quartz is one of the hardest minerals on Earth, and so as the quartz strikes, or the flint strikes the flint, it creates heat, right?
Yes.
Friction creates heat. Well, because the iron has carbon in it, guess what? Catches on fire and creates a spark.
Ah.
So the friction from the two striking together creates the heat. Because the flint is harder than the steel, it shaves off tiny little pieces of steel, and because the carbon is in that little piece of steel, and from the heat, you get that spark. And that's how you're able to transfer that energy to creating a fire. So
You're just full of knowledge.
I tell you what, you come out that day on the 14th, and you will be the master of your campfires.
All right, that's a promise.
I don't know how much time we got left, but we got all kinds of things. Again, people
Well,
can check out our website. They can follow us on Facebook. October 31st, if there are no Halloween trick or treats that night, stop out and figure out what's going on in the zombie zoo out at the Nature Center. Did you know there are animals out there that are kind of like zombies?
Yes.
Well, you come out on October 31st at 7 p.m. Miss Chelsea has a program called Zombie Zoo, and you're going to learn all about nature's very own zombies, real life zombies.
Well, I can tell you there's a lot of activity at 2:30 in the morning because that's when I get up and I go out.
Do you hear? Ooh, ooh,
Yes. Yeah.
You don't hear any gobbles though.
Who cares?
All I care is who cooks for you.
When I say that for the hoo-hoo for the owls. Josh, we're having a lot of fun.
Hey,
here.
we are, Dave. I appreciate you letting me in the studio this morning.
Well, that's the kind of the way I feel about them letting me on air. So thank you again for being here, Josh.
Dangerous duo.
Yes, it is. Josh Dyer from the Crawford Park District,
Thanks,
the
Dave.
director, and we'd love to have you here. There's countless things to talk on, but I like people to be able to go and read about this here. We've whet their appetite.
We have whetted their appetite.
And there we go. And there's owls that are called.
There are. There are parks in the dark.
Yes, there you go. So I thought we'd throw those little zingers in there too. Thanks, Josh,
hey,
for
thanks,
being here
Dave.
today.